Hey guys, we wanted to go ahead and do a tutorial for you today. We've got Isaiah's pretty excited about his 15-turn motor for his ECX Circuit two-wheel drive. These come with a 20-turn. They're brushed. In the hobby, that's not considered a very fast motor. 15 turns, a pretty significant improvement for him, and they're extremely inexpensive. You don't have to change anything else out, and they're really easy to swap. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to do that today, but to get it going, I have the same car, and I actually already put a 15-turn motor in mine, and so we took the cars out and did a little bit of a comparison for you. So why don't you go ahead and enjoy that, and we'll get set up with the tools to show you how to go ahead and get started. Alright, cool. Let's do it. So we're going to clean the RC here. Isaiah's going to point out that we don't want to get these electronics wet, your ESC and your transmitter and stuff, but pretty much everything else is fair game. So front suspension, tires, engine, it's not going to bother that at all, a little bit of water. So what are you doing there, Isaiah?
I'm rinsing it, rinsing the tire, kind of turning it so it gets all over, getting inside the wheels so that all that dirt goes away.
Yeah, because we were running these in salt water too, in the snow where there was salt, so that can rust your metal really quick, so we want to make sure we rinse it really well.
Yep.
So what are you going to do there? Inside the back tire? Wow, look at all that dirt.
That's a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
Yep, kind of turn it again.
Yep, get those moving parts spinning while the water's running over them to clear them out.
Other wheel.
Yep, you don't want dirt in moving parts because that's really going to wear them down a lot quicker than what you want, and you're going to be replacing parts here real quick. So again, water doesn't hurt that engine at all, so go ahead and rinse it off really well. What are you doing there? Looks like you got a toothbrush.
Yep, I'm grabbing my toothbrush and I'm just kind of...
Well, not your toothbrush, right?
No, it's not my toothbrush. And I'm just cleaning out the inside, trying to unsettle it so that I can rinse it later and get all the dirt out.
Right, because you can't really run that under the water because it's too big for one. It won't reach all the way in. And then secondly, again, we want to try to keep as much water away from those electronics as possible. Even though these are waterproof, we just don't like risking it. So he's got it scrubbed up, and oh, you got to fill a little thing with water.
Yep, a little container. You want to fill it just a little bit, not too much, so it overflows.
Yep.
You're going to grab your car and just lightly pour.
Yep, looks like you're leaning it so that the water runs away from your electronics, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Away from your electronics. You don't want to get those wet. Kind of move it around in there to get all the dirt.
Yep, shake the water out. Yep, there we go. Cool. Pesky connector.
Right.
All right, you got it up on the sink now. What are we doing? Looks like wiping it down?
Yep, we're going to wipe it down. Just give it a quick wipe with the towel, just a regular old towel that I have laying around. Just
yep, we have some cleaning rags, we call them. So he's going to wipe off any remaining water and try to get some of the dirt off there that might be in the, left behind. Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. The bristles of the brush will get in those little screws because we're going to be actually taking this apart. So We'll make sure the dirt's out of the screws. Check those tires again. Oh, just found some in there.
Yeah, I did find a little bit of dirt in there, and you definitely want to get that out with your toothbrush.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Get that all cleaned up. We like to keep them clean because we keep them in the house, and I don't like dirt everywhere when you set it down and dirt falls off. So we clean them, and then also it's just good for your RCs, good for when you're working on them.
Move to the back now.
Yeah.
Again, getting inside of there because all the dirt.
Yeah, it looks like it's a little tighter in the back. Is that because you can't turn the wheel?
No, you can't. See, in the front you can turn it, but
yeah.
in the back it just can't.
Yep, it's a little bit tighter, a little bit harder to get in there with your toothbrush.
Yep.
So, but we'll try to get as much as we can out of there.
Mm-hmm. Move to the other tire.
Yep, let's flip it over. Got that top side. Oh, the engine. Can't forget the engine.
No, you can't.
I guess it's a motor, not an engine, isn't it?
It is. We've been saying engine, but it is a motor.
Yeah, it's an electric motor, so the transmission area there that he was just scrubbing, that's especially important because we're going to be swapping out that motor for a 15 turn. They come with a 20 turn, so we're going to make it just a little bit faster.
Again, with your towel, just getting a rough wipe on the big pans, and then you're going to take your toothbrush, and again, getting all the crooks and crannies and crevices, because you don't want the dirt sitting there.
Yep. Especially around your electronics where you don't want to run a lot of water.
Just kind of remove the little wires a little bit and scrub it.
Yep. Oh, the shocks, that's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
The shocks are going up and down like Isaiah's showing there. And the issue with that is with dirt on those shafts, because they're exposed like that, that'll wear out your seals. And these are actually oil-filled shocks. So they will wear out if you don't keep them clean. Servo area as well, there's some linkage in there that gets caked up with dirt because we oil all our linkages and stuff with some 3-in-1 oil, so the dirt kind of sticks to them, so we try to scrub that area out.
To the back suspension, you want to get that, don't ever forget the back.
Yep, get those rear shocks cleaned up too. And then the drive shafts, those are universal joints, so there's a lot of moving parts in there that we got to get cleaned up. And looks like that's it. Awesome. One of the first things you want to do whenever you're working with brushed motors is to break them in. And what that basically means is you've got a brush or a conductor inside of the motor. You've got two of them, and they actually ride on a spinning shaft. And they start out as square blocks. So you've got a block on a shaft, and it's not very efficient. So you want to round that over like this. And the best way to do that is while it's submerged in water, so it gets all the material away from the spinning parts and lubricates and cools it while you're breaking it in. So that can actually equate to a pretty significant performance increase. So that's what we're going to start out with doing. So in order to do that, I like to run it off of the ESC and stuff. Some people hook it right up to the battery, and I just don't like that. I want to be able to change the way it is performing while it's in the water, and that means using the actual remote for it. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and cut these. Got a couple of tie wraps on them. We can leave that one on because that's on the motor side. So we're going to cut this tie wrap here so we can free up our wiring like that, and you can put that back, you don't need to though. And then we're going to pull these apart. So Isaiah, why don't you go ahead and do that. What you have to understand is there's two little rubber seals here, so you got to pull like that, okay? Mm-hmm. You can pull those wires apart. This is his truck, so he's going to go ahead and do this one. He watched me do mine. There we go, that's the negative. Positive.
It's kind of stuck.
They're pretty tight. You don't want them coming unplugged while you're driving, so that's why they make them tight. Alright, so this is the motor side. We don't need that. We need to get this side off. So we're going to go ahead and feed those back through. Pull from that end on the black one. There we go. There's one. Red one. There's two. So what we've just done there is we've gotten a little bit of extra wiring so that we can work in this area. So we're going to take this, set the car like that. Got our new motor here. Why don't you go ahead and open that up and take the staples out first.
Yeah.
And because we're dealing with water and I just don't like messes, we've got a towel.
We do have a towel, people.
So this is just a towel for projects and stuff. It's not really gonna get dirty, but my wife probably wouldn't like us using regular towels. Having a hard time? Here, let me cut it open for you.
Be my guest.
There we go. And there. What do you think?
It's heavy.
Cool. So this one is the 15 turn. 15T right on there. These come with a 20. This is the same brand and everything, so it's gonna plug right in for it. It's no problem. So I guess let's grab a couple of tools and we'll be right back with the break-in. All right. So we got our tools. We'll go ahead and walk through those when it comes time to need those. But first steps first is we're gonna actually get this plugged in and submerge it in some water. Go ahead, Isaiah, get it plugged in. Black to black, red to red. And again, this is just going to give us control over the speed of the motor by hooking it right up to the ESC. Alright, and whenever you're working on these, you want to have the power off on them. But we are going to have to turn the power on when it comes time to run it. Water is not going to hurt this thing, but we are going to make sure we cover it up. Make sure that you guys can still see it though. Alright, yep, you need to plug your car in.
Put them in here. The other way around. Or does it?
There we go. Now, controller on and car on. There we go. Now watch this. Isaiah, you're going to hit the gas really slow. You can see it start to circulate the water. You can go a little faster. Faster yet. There we go. You get a close up while we're doing this. Go ahead and reverse the direction. Awesome. Alright, so we're not going to make you watch the whole thing because it is going to take a little while to break it in. So we're going to go ahead and cut here, and when you come back we'll have a broken motor and probably about 5 to 10 minutes of varying the speed in both directions will give you a good result. So you already see it, that's starting to get dirty. We'll show you the water at the end. Alright, just wanted to show you guys real quick before we got this all cleaned up how dark that water gets, and that's exactly why you want to do this in water, because that is that would all normally just be housed in your motor until you cleaned it for the first time. So getting that cleaned out as you're breaking it in is definitely going to be best for it. Alright, so now this is an optional step, but I would recommend it. We've got some electric motor cleaner here. Let's show you. Just ordered this on Amazon for a couple of bucks. And this is something that's going to just kind of get any water out of there or any other loose debris. Again, you don't need to do it. These motors are not really expensive. But for the sake of doing it right and trying to take good care of them, we're going to go ahead and clean it out. Plus, they were, it was just in all that dirty water, so I think it's probably best. So this is an aerosol, so we're just going to get it in here and try to spray it without getting it everywhere. That's nasty stuff. Alright, so we can go ahead and get this motor out of the way because we are going to be removing the 20 turn out of there. So first steps first, what are our tools, Isaiah? We got a big Phillips screwdriver.
Big Phillips.
And that's for actually removing the motor screws. And then we've got a really small Allen head in order to actually open up the case over here. So what we need to do is use the Phillips screwdriver to remove the 2 screws on the top of the rear bumper. Alright, so now we got to rotate this over because there's more screws on the bottom of that bumper. There's 2 more right there. Now these ones can get scratched up while you're playing with your RC. So you want to make sure that they're clear of dirt like we showed in the washing video. And you want to really press down, put a lot of downward pressure to keep the screwdriver from riding up out of there. Important to note as he removes this last screw here is that the bottom screws have a taper to them, like that, and the top screws are kind of a flat head there. Alright, so keep track of that, and you can go ahead and pop that off. There we go, set that aside. Cool. Flip it back over. Now we're going to be removing this cover right here. It's all one big piece. You don't have to worry about this little one here. We're going to remove this one. So we've got the small little Allen head here. And we're going to remove this one, that screw, one down here, and I think that's it. I think it's just the 3. So Isaiah, you can go ahead and get to work on that. These ones are also different from your other ones. So we've got the ones from the bottom, the ones from the top, and then the ones from the gearbox. Alright, that one's done. Good job. Alright, so now that gearbox, that cover will just pop off really easily. Again, we cleaned this, so you want to make sure all the loose dirt from around it is gone before you pop that off, because you got open gears in there. Alright, so this is how far you'd need to go if you were going to change your spur gear or your motor gear. That one slips, the name of that slips my mind right now. You can also adjust your clutch here. That's this cover here. Excuse me. And so that's what we're going to be removing, is the motor part right here. So you got 2 screws. Those are Phillips head, and those are next to come off. And there we go. The motor is free at last. Alright. So now we need to remove the gear off of there in order to place it on the new motor. So Isaiah, if you can find, there's a little set screw on that gear on the side. There we go. It's on the bottom side. There we go. So you need to find that little set screw and make sure you have the appropriate size tool. Try that one in there. I think it's that size. Yep. Unscrew that. It doesn't have to come all the way out. Wrong way. There we go. There we go. So that's just going to come off, and we're going to reuse this gear. There's a little set screw. So the 20-turn motor is yesterday's news. Let's set that aside. And bring in that 15-turn. There we go. That's going to slide on. There's a flat part on the shaft. Slide that on to where that aligns. And make sure the end of the shaft is flush with the end of the gear. Like that. Alright, you can go ahead and snug it back down there, Isaiah. Awesome, nice and snug?
Yep.
Good deal. That can slide back in there. Now here's where we've got a little trick to show you. You can't have those gears right here and right there. Slide it back in there, Isaiah. You can't have those as tight as they go. They need to have a bit of a gap there. So Isaiah, why don't you go ahead and thread in this screw. Make sure it aligns with the screw hole. Alright, so once you get that one in, then you can start your second one. Don't snug that one up all the way. You can start your second one in, because the second one has a slotted hole. That's going to be a little difficult to see, but it's got a slotted hole. So the reason that that's significant is that allows this gear to move in and out in relation to the other gear. So, let's see if I can, like that. Okay? So this spacing has to be proper, because if you do too tight, there's too much interference here. But too loose, and you're going to strip out your gears, because these ones are just plastic. So the shim that you use in between those is just a sheet of paper. So Isaiah, can you go grab a sheet of paper for us?
Yes, I can.
There's one right there. That sheet of paper slides right in between, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you slide that motor up to where it's flush, and it pinches that paper. Now you hold it in that position while you thread in your other motor screw. Good. Now snug up the other one. Good. Now you rotate the gears to pull the paper out. There you go. And that's your perfect gear mesh. So now when you spin the tires and stuff, it's not going to bind up on there. And that's the installation of the motor. Now you just got to pop your cover back on and oh, you gotta make sure it's the right way. There you go. Pop the cover back on. Do not over tighten your screws on this one, because that is just plastic. You just need it tight enough to hold it in place. Alright, one last step here. You gotta run the wiring through that little hole again. And then you're going to plug those in.
Red to red.
Red to red, black to black. There we go. And then race.